The idea, insight, or secret you need for massive impact is just moments away. It's time to claim your career crown. The podcast where business owners and entrepreneurs share the keys to the kingdom to help you open the vault to your greater success. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to Strategic Sales Queen's Claim Your Career Crown podcast. And I'm your host, Lynn Whitbeck, the Strategic Sales Queen. And today I am absolutely thrilled to welcome my special guest, Toni Caruso, because I have to tell you, she's one of my heroes. And we're going to be talking about clarity and messaging. And if you're talking to everyone, you're talking to no one. And my cat just decided to join us. So if you see his tail, you'll know why. And I, this is such an important topic. And I'm so thrilled that Toni's here because today, especially, so many people are just swimming in a sea of sameness. And when you listen to what Toni has to say, this is really going to help set you apart and stand out. And if you get a ton of value in this episode and you love the show, I invite you to subscribe and leave us those 5-star reviews. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Toni. With over 30 years of event production experience, Toni has brilliantly managed and successfully organized events, small and large, for the entertainment, corporate, and business-to-business worlds. Toni has taken her skills, experience, and behind-the-scenes event knowledge to professionals so they can help educate, inform, and share their genius live on stage. She operates in the speaking world as she guides, teaches, and helps speakers and experts and gifted messengers stand out and monetize their message. So Toni, as I said, I am just so thrilled to have you here. Welcome to the show.
I don't know if I can live up to that. Thank you. It's so excited to be here. I'm like, oh my gosh, is that me? Yeah.
Well, it's so true. And, you have a great backstory, and I would love to have you share how you got started.
We can go all the way back to my birth.
Maybe not that far.
Okay. Basically, I was a July birthday, July 30th. And this was at a time, I'm going to be 70, so I'm being honest here, when we didn't have emails and phone trees and all these things. It was just the 5 kids in the neighborhood that would come for my birthday party that came every day and swam in my above ground pool. And that day they brought gifts and I had ice cream and cake. But I had a sister who had an April birthday. And she would have 45 kids, the entire 3rd grade, whatever, in our garage having a movie day and all these gifts and all this stuff. It just was like, this isn't fair. Like, what's going on here? And, and we didn't have half birthdays, so I never got to celebrate in school. My mother would bring cupcakes, the last day of school, and that was the big deal. So I grew up always wanting to have better birthday parties. That was the impetus to me doing themes for my birthday and starting to promote them all year. Like, oh, I'm going to have a roller skating party. Oh, hey, we're going to do this. We're going to Farrell's Ice Cream. I was like promoting it and then having these events. So then you could call them and say, remember, you said you'd come to my birthday party. So I started doing events, and then that got me into high school where I did all the dances, even some I wasn't even invited to. And so it was one of those things. I became an event planner without even knowing I was an event planner. So that got me into the corporate world where I was everybody's executive assistant, and the executive assistant puts on the holiday parties and the conferences, et cetera, to the point that I said, you know what do I really love doing in work? And I loved putting on events, was really good at it. So I found an ad week, all right, probably not even in publishing anymore. And there was an event planner for City National Bank in California, and I got the job. And I went, oh my God, I found my niche. And I did my last year, I was pregnant. I did 374 events in 1 year, all by myself. So, when you say, what are you good at? I'm good at that. I can organize it. I can put them all together. And then COVID hit. and I had an event business. After I had the baby, started my own event business, and COVID hit, killed my business.
Yeah.
And so I bought you got to invest in yourself. So I bought myself a mastermind online with Sandra Yancey, our CEO at eWomen. And she's like, okay, Toni, you're now a speaker coach. And I went, I'm a what? You're a speaker coach. And your acronym is SPEAK. S stands for stages, P is presentation. And she went through all of this. And I just did everything she told me. And now I built a coaching program. Because when you spend as many years as I did in the back of the room, listening to speakers, you learn a lot about what's good and what, let's just say, is not so good. So long story short, that's my life, That's how we got here.
That's how we got here. And that's true. And, I really want to dive into this topic. And I love the fact that you mentioned Farrell's ice cream, because I remember Farrell's and the birthday parties and the
with the zoo, the big ice cream zoo that had and the hats.
I know. It was such a great place. Anyway, so let's dive into the clarity and messaging, because, I would love to hear your perspective about why, if you're talking to everyone, you're really talking to no one.
Well, I think we're all a little tired of, I help authors, speakers, and coaches find their brilliance on stage so they can share their message with the world. Yeah, well, what's in it for me? So that's where you have to look at. And right now is a brilliant time to get in the room with people. If you are not getting in a room and networking and getting to know people and doing one-on-ones and getting in front of people, you're missing out on great opportunities. Because right now with AI, you don't even know, are you really talking to a person? Is that really their face on their profile? You don't know anymore. So it's a trust problem. So if you're not clear on what you do and who you serve, your ideal client or audience isn't going to say, ooh, I need to talk to her. Ooh, I need more from her. If I'm out there and I'm at one event and I'm selling Melaleuca, nothing wrong with it, I'm selling Melaleuca. At another event, I'm a life coach. And at another event, I'm selling real estate. Really, then what are you really good at? Figure that out. What is the one thing that you are really, what makes you so uniquely perfect to help somebody with? We all have it. We just have to niche down to it. Stop doing everything, because nobody wants everything. They want that one thing that could change everything.
Yeah. And there's enough room for all of that when you niche, you actually are that clarity. And it's also, there's another side to this, is you actually want to repel the people you don't want to work with.
Absolutely.
and for women especially, you don't have, it's like, it's okay that not everybody likes you.
Right.
So, and I think that that's also a really powerful thing, and really dive into what really lights you on fire and who do you create the greatest impact for and why. And that helps you with that niching down. And I've seen the same thing when you're going and people have this, it's like they're telling you they do 6 different things. Well, it's like, I don't even know what you do at this point.
Right.
I don't know what to do with you. I don't know how to help you or who to refer you to or introduce you to. So, and I also would like,
it tells me that you're not an expert in whatever it is you do, because you have to keep trying all these other things because you're not making money at what you're an expert in. I always say, sit down with a piece of paper and write down, who is your favorite ideal client? And if you don't have one, make one up. Who would be the perfect person that you would want to work with? Like every time they call on the phone, you go, oh, I'm picking up the phone. Oh my God, it's Lynn. I'm going to talk to Lynn. But if it's Joe, I've had enough of Joe. So what is Lynn? Ask yourself, what is Lynn? And what are her 3 pain points? What are the 3 things that Lynn has that are pain points that you can solve, that you are uniquely qualified to solve? I am perfect to be a speaker coach because I've been in the back of the room as an event planner and seen what speakers have done right and seen what they've done wrong. So that makes me an expert in my niche. What makes you an expert in your niche? Because if you niche it down and you get really clear on what you do and who you serve, when you're talking to those people, and even on a stage in front of 500 people, when you're talking to one person, let me tell you, I'm sure that there's 25 people in the room that goes, oh, She's talking to me. That's powerful. And that's all you have to do to convert and build $1 million business.
Yeah, it's true. So, you've just been talking about it. You just literally gave us a little bit of a blueprint, but how do you help your clients create their clarity in messaging?
Well, it's funny. I was just on a phone call, a Zoom call with a woman who says, I want to speak. And she starts sharing with me all her education. And I got a PhD in this, and I got a MBA in this, and then I've done this, and I've taken this, and I. I don't care. What about me? What's in it for me? So the only way that you can be really clear on what your message is and who you work with is to be really clear on what you're really good at. And I always say, write it out. Write out. I help you. And I always say, try to stay away from the word I. We, because it sounds like you're more of a company. We help authors just like you take your book from published to
Bestseller.
purpose, whatever, like what is it, really clear and really short. You don't want to tell them everything. People don't need to know everything. They just need enough to say, ooh, tell me more. Lean in, tell me more. It's a conversation. Even from stage, it's a conversation. It is not a sales pitch.
Yeah. I always look at it as an invitation to learn more and to build that like, know, and trust factor. Things are resonating with them and it's making sense. Then you're going to get that enthusiasm and people leaning in and wanting to know more. So, what I feel is going on right now too is that clarity in messaging is more urgent than ever, especially to stand out from the crowd, to gain visibility, to truly stand in your own authenticity. So, that's my take on what's happening. What's yours?
I feel like I'm tired of the same old, same old. I'm tired of the same sales pitch. I'm tired of the same formats. What makes you different? What makes you stand out? If it's your personality, people always say, oh my God, Toni, you are so blunt. You're to the point. And I go, but that's me. And if you can't handle that, you're probably not my ideal audience, right? But if you can't take some really good feedback, then we're not a good match. So if I was to sit there and go, oh yeah, I love the way you feel and I understand and there's a lot of empathy, I am not a nurturer. I'm an action taker. It's not me. And if you're someone that needs nurturing and hand holding, I'm not the right one for you. So stop trying to be something for everybody and be something for that one person that you really want to work with and that one group, because there's enough for everybody.
Yeah, no, there truly is. And I think that to your point, one of the key thing is that really understanding who you are and how the impact that you create, and then who that ideal client is, and really then adjusting your messaging to their perspective is one of the key things that you can do to really stand out from the crowd.
Right.
So, why is clarity in messaging typically a blind spot? You and I see it. I know we see it all the time because we get the generic, oh, I'm a life coach and I help people get unstuck. And it's like, okay, I think that was the 25th time I've heard that this week.
Yeah. I always say, if you can say what you do in 11 words or less, like you women, we help 1 million women achieve $1 million in annual sales. Like, oh my God, I would love to be that woman. Tell me more. I just do it in 11 words or less. If you can do that, that is brilliant. We tend to market to each other and we tell everybody about what we do, and we do this and we do this and we do that. Hey, great, we do that. But what's in it for me? And I keep saying that because people don't understand that. Stop selling me, stop marketing me, start asking me questions and be curious about me, so that when I want to, for instance, I want to buy a chair for my house and I go to the furniture store and they're like, oh, well, we have this beautiful blue chair over there. Well, blue doesn't really match my house. Well, we have a green one over here. Well, my husband likes to put his feet up and wants to be more comfortable. Well, we have one. Why not sit there and say, what kind of chair are you looking for?
Yeah.
You know, are you
what's
looking
the
for a
color palette?
recliner? Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you looking for a dining room chair? Are you looking for a chair for your desk? Ask me the questions so that I can then say to you, oh, you know what? I have the perfect thing for you. Let me show it to you.
Yeah.
Instead of, because when that's happening, the customer feels as though, oh, they're not understanding me.
Yeah.
They're not thinking about me. I went to buy
Yeah.
a car with my husband, and it was my car. And we go to the sales guy, and he's not even looking at me. He keeps saying, well, what color do you want? Talking to my husband. And my husband would say, well, ask her. It's her car. And I said, I'd like to have red or gray. And he's like, and then he'd ask my husband a question. And they'd ask my husband a question. Well, I walked away. I got on the phone and I called another dealership and said, do you have a such and such car in red available right now? Yes, we do. I walked back to the sales guy, and I said, well, it's been really nice talking with you, but I just bought a car from another dealership. And he looked at me, and my husband just smiled because he knew what I was doing. You know, if you're not talking to me and asking me questions, then are you really somebody I want to work with?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, one of the most important jobs as a salesperson is to be a detective. You know, you're identifying, is this a right fit client? You know, what's really going on? Can you help them? And I'm sorry, but do you want to help them?
Yeah.
So, because, you know, that client that, yes, you can help them. Yes, you can create impact, but you know, it is going to be a struggle and a fight the entire time. It's not worth your time and energy because it's just going to drain you, and it's going to
Right.
create it just, you know, you're better off saying, well, I know actually who's going to be a better fit for you, or here's a good resource, you know, just point them in the right direction. And
Because they'll end up writing horrible reviews about you, or they'll talk about, oh my God, Toni was the worst to work with. She didn't da da da. You know, you don't need that out there in the ether, and it's just a bad mix. Like, you get a lot of people who are fitness people, health people, and they're like, oh, everyone needs to lose weight. I can help everyone. Yeah, but is your specialty working with women premenopausal, postmenopausal, post baby? Are they young people? Who do you work? It doesn't mean that,
yeah,
you work with me and your focus is women over 50, and I become successful and my husband goes, oh my God, can you do that for me too? And I say, absolutely. You can work with my husband. It doesn't mean you can't work for these other people, but you need to be known for something.
right. Yeah. You need to focus your attention, and you're just going to get there so much faster.
Right.
So, you know, it's a perfect lead into my next question is, what should our listeners do next about creating their own clarity in messaging?
Well, I would sit down and do just like I said. Write down who's your favorite client? What do they look like? Are they a man, a woman? Are they a corporate employee? Are they mid management? Are they a brick and mortar? Are they an entrepreneur? Find out who they are. What's their age range? Where are they in business? Are they just starting out? Are they at that $10,000 range and they want to get to $50,000? Are they at that six figure? Or are they at, hey, I'm making multiple six figures. I want to go seven. Where are they? Because you can't help the people that are just starting and the seven figure people. It's a
Yeah.
different conversation.
Yeah.
So who are they? And then what are their problems? And why are you uniquely qualified to solve them? And then sit down and write it out and write it out again and get it smaller, get it clearer. And then ask people, get on a Zoom with three of your best friends and say, hey, listen, if you walked up to me in a networking event and I said this to you, does it sound like I'm selling to you? Or is it something you'd go, ooh, I'd like to know more? I
Yeah.
mean, test it out.
Yeah. And it's
But
actually a great place if you're a member of eWomen Network or looking at it to come to our SBIs, either in person,
perfect.
wherever we're at in US, Canada, UK, Mexico, or online, because you can actually practice that. And you
Right.
can come with that message and you keep refining it. I've had one member in my chapter, because full disclosure, I'm managing director of eWomen Network in Greater Seattle. Toni is in Dallas. She's actually an executive managing director and our managing director of the year. So, but one of the things that's really intriguing is that Vicki kept working on it, and she kept coming to the SBIs to work on her messaging, and she's nailed it now. because it was just a hot mess to begin with. I mean, you didn't
Right.
really know what she was doing because she's a massage therapy, but she's also this heart chatter coach. I mean, it was just like, okay, what do you do? What do I
Yeah.
recommend? I mean, I don't know how to point people to you. And she kept refining it. And what does she really want to do? And which is doing the coaching. But anyway, long story short, she used the SBIs in that format to keep getting feedback, and she kept refining it. And it took a little bit, but she's there now and she just rocks it. Everybody just, oh, I know exactly what Vicky does.
Right.
So it's a great way to
Right.
try that. That was a great piece of advice. Thank you, Toni.
Oh, you're very welcome. And just know that when you go to these chamber events, which I love chambers, not my
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
But everybody gets 30 seconds to say what they do, and they have these little kitschy things, It gets old and we stop listening. You know, Tell us something that's going to change us, a tip or something. Each time you go in, have something different to say, because after a while, people stop listening.
Yeah. No, I love my chamber. I'm in two chambers, but my core chamber that I do business in, and they are, we actually have a 20-second to say something. And so it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And, but one of the things is that because you keep showing up and you talk to different people and you walk out with like two people that you really want to connect with and you want to learn more about and find out and be that curious, be genuine. You do build relationships over time. The last time I walked into the chamber, I actually had somebody shout, "Oh my gosh, Lynn's here. Everybody, you've got to meet Lynn." And I'm going like, whoa, okay. And the director who does the event, she goes, "Oh yeah, everybody, you got to meet Lynn." And I'm going like, whoa. But that's from consistency. It's showing up and giving, just like with any Women Network. We give first, you share always, you lift as you climb. And when you do that, you're going to build relationships faster and people are going to start to remember you and who you are. So with that said, Toni, is there anything you wished that I had asked you today that I have not?
No, I think we've covered everything. Um, I love talking with you, Lynn. We have a good relationship. We have fun together. And we're kind of different on the spectrum because Lynn is big on sales and follow up, and I can't stand follow up. I mean, it's my least favorite thing to do. So find people in your life that are doing the things that you don't like to do, and then learn from them. Um, if speaking is something you want to do, I would love to connect with you. If sales and follow up is something that you need to be better at, talk to Lynn, But see, I know what Lynn does. Lynn knows what I do. Stay in your lane, find those people that are great collaborators with you. Like, for instance, presentation coaches, event planners, those kind of people. We can get together and do an event together. I mean, stop doing it by yourself. Get in a room with people that can help you and advise you and support you. We're all in these little bubbles now. Get out of your bubble. And now is the time to get real and to get authentic and in the room.
Yeah. Brilliant as always. And Toni, thank you so much for sharing why clarity and messaging is so important. If you're talking to everyone, you're talking to no one. And I know that our listeners are going to want to know more about you and how they can connect with you, Toni.
Well, just look for Toni Caruso on LinkedIn, Toni Caruso Events on Instagram, and I actually have a YouTube channel, Toni Caruso Unscripted. So subscribe there and DM me, Facebook message me. I'm on all of them. I will respond.
Yeah. And I just put all of that in the live stream. And for those who are not with us live, those will be down below in the links so that you can click and connect with Toni. And so thank you so much, Toni. And thank you for joining me. And thank you to everyone who is here with us live and everyone who's watching the show or listening to the podcast after the fact, because this has been such an informative discussion and it's something that you can truly take away and apply in your business immediately. Toni, your brilliance, as always, has just shined. Thank you so much.
Well, it was a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
What was your biggest takeaway from this episode? I would love to hear about it. It's important to support the things you love If you loved this episode, a 5-star review helps keep the podcast coming to you. Also, if you want to get more sales strategies to grow your business, make sure you subscribe right now. And if you want to get results even faster, I invite you to download my sales strategy checklist at strategicsalesqueen.com/checklist. This has been Lynn Whitbeck, your strategic sales queen and host of Claim Your Career Crown. I'll see you next time.